Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1551 of our daily content grind. So, I kind of felt like just talking today. I hope you don't mind a video of just free-floating thoughts, no format. I don't even have bullet points for this. We're just going to sit and talk because that seems like the appropriate format for what the topic of the video is today. It's essentially just to kind of check in before the new year. Well, now that we're in the holidays, it's the home stretch of 2025. Just before we start off 2026, it's a good chance to kind of look back and see where we are at as Transformer fans right now. To the point where you're just going to see just like random images over here of just various things that came to mind, thinking about where we are right now as a community and as a fandom, both officially and unofficially. And the more I researched and the more I kind of just like collected my thoughts, the more it just kind of dawned on me that right now Transformers as a franchise is just frankly overwhelming. There is so much going on at the same time in this franchise, and frankly, I'm not entirely sure why. Now, I say that because, like, doesn't it just kind of feel like Transformers is in a lull? Like, it's not as big a section in the shops as it used to be. My Walmarts and my Targets have, like, an okay supply, but, it's hardly where it was, like, 10 years ago or so. Like, it seems like it is significantly downscaled. Like we have the comic books, but we have no real cartoon on TV right now. We have a 5-minute per episode web show on YouTube. And granted, YouTube's not a bad platform for something like this. That's where a lot of kids are just like brain rotting these days. But at the same time, it feels wrong. Like, it feels wrong to have a franchise in to have no good solid cartoon at the moment, right? I mean, things like that started coming to mind. So we're just gonna go over everything right now and just like the girth of what the Transformer brand is at the moment. And yeah, like a lot of it that occurs to me is let's get this out of the way right out the gate. Yeah, it's the price hike that everything is going through. I know a lot of people who are basically going to be dropping Transformers because of the new price hikes. Now, again, we're not blaming Hasbro or Takara or any of the companies involved this time because we know why the prices are going up. Do not talk politics in my comments section. This is the only mention I am going to make of it this entire video. We know why the prices went up this time. But they are going to a ridiculous point, like I don't know anyone happy to pay $43 for a Voyager, especially like the long-term fans who remember $40 being the price of a leader class figure that was, by the way larger than the leader class figures we have today. You can't do that kind of comparison because that's just how our economy works or doesn't work. Things are just going to get more expensive over time. And there's no stopping that, nothing you can do about that. It's unfortunate. It's just how it kind of goes. So you can't look at like what you bought with $40 20 years ago and compare it to what we bought $40 today, because it's just going to be depressing and disappointing. So you can't do it like that. Do not do that. That is going to be just a great way of ruining your day. But I've noticed me who tries to pick up as much as I can because this is kind of my job. It's, you guys want to know what I think of brand new toys that come out, new events and occurrences that happen, what happened in the comic books, what happened in the new movie, what happened in the new cartoon. So I do have to partake in this, and I have to participate in the economy of it, even when it costs $43 for a deluxe with 2 mini-cons. We are living in crazy times. But I will admit, it's starting to get me to the point where I'm like kind of figuring out where the cutoff points are. A big one right now is Flatline, which is starting to show up in a bunch of places. And it looks really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a really cool looking figure. It's black and red. You're not going to go wrong on black and red deco. But I look at that and I look at him and go, I don't really need that mold again. I don't really need that mold again as a character who really doesn't technically even fit the design of that mold. So that went from pre-order to, like, once the prices went up, that went to cancel. I'm looking at the big expenses. Like unfortunately, I pre-ordered Adamus Machina Predaking from a place that will no longer let me cancel the order, so I got to get in touch with them and figure that out because I can't afford the shipping on that thing. Yeah, we're not even getting into like the import side of Transformers. Here I am with a whole bunch of like Wild King stuff just stuck in Japan right now, waiting for one Abyss Rain to come out. If I could actually get an Abyss Rain back order to actually fill, I might actually bite the bullet and then pretty much call myself done on importing. It's just too expensive to import now. So hopefully Takara doesn't do anything super cool with Adamus Machina, because that's going to wreck me financially to try to get in on. So the imports are getting really hard. But then again, imports are also a little bit more accessible than they used to be. Takara or Hasbro actually supports some level of importing now, which is nice of them, makes it a little bit more affordable. But even if you cut out the like extraneous spending, you just keep it to the stuff you absolutely want, still crazy expensive, right? I don't know anyone who's going to be happy, with the prices going forward. And even if situations alleviate, they ain't going to lower the prices back down. They should, but they're probably not. We're hoping. I think at this point, your only hope is that they've priced out so many people that they have to do something different. That's about the only thing I can hope for at this point to rectify that. But even with the heavy price of things and heavy price of importing, we're not really seeing a slowdown of stuff that's coming out. I mean, just from official product, we've got there's still some Earthspark coming out. There's now all the Prime Changer assortment, which is just generic deluxes of the main cast, mostly repaints, but still it is a secondary toy assortment. You've got Cyberworld going on right now, Studio Series going on, Generations going on, Collaborative going on, plus whatever random other thing they throw in, Generation Selects, capsule lines, exclusives, multi-packs. It's chaos. And that's not even including like the crazy amount of reissues. You have any idea how weird it is to actually spot Legacy toys or Siege toys in like original Siege packaging back on the shelves? It's crazy. It's a bizarre time. It's a very bizarre time. And it's overwhelming is what it is. I'm going to keep using that word. Like the franchise right now is just overwhelming with how much stuff there is. And this is on official fronts. This is not even including, like, if you are going to continue importing, this doesn't include things like MPG and Adamus Machina and Missing Link and whatever else Takara decides to come up with, because every now and then they'll just drop something like a Lio Convoy that's way better than the US version that came out. They'll do things like that too. So then you have to count for all of that as official product. And then you go into official third-party product, the licensees, and then you're the Wild West again. You're either getting like super cheap, like desktop size blockies toys, or you're getting crazy $6,000 statues. There's no in between. Well, and then there's everything in between. That's what I mean to say. You've got diecast figures that don't transform. You got model kits. You've got smaller end statues. Just any number of random collectibles people have figured out. Blind box action figures, keychains, like crazy amounts of merchandise coming out, and it's still all toys. That's the important thing. Like, it's not like a huge franchise that's putting out like the usual merch of t-shirts, like kids sneakers and all that. You can find that stuff for Transformers, but it's not a gigantic marketing push for all of that, like some major like movie or something. But it's all toys. Like the vast majority of it is still toys. So it goes into what I would call like my toy budget for the month. Do I get stupid little things like Swapticons from time to time? Again, official lines that have, that just throw more product on the shelf. Well, yeah, why not? Why not? Like the Hero Mashers are out now too, right? Or whatever they're calling them now. This is what I mean, though. This is what I mean. Like, there's just so freaking much. Go into the stores right now. Going into a Walmart right now. Can you still find this like little like drone helicopter transformer thing? Can you still find those big noise makers, the giant headed Optimus, Megatron, and Bumblebee that starts singing the theme song when you hit the head? Those are still around too. Like, it's just everywhere you look. Transformer at a time when it feels like the interest in Transformers is at the lowest it's been in like 20 years. Because we got no good movies coming out. And the good movies that we have coming out, no one went to see because they were so poorly marketed. We had a good cartoon until executives ruined it. So that went out the window. Like right now, fiction-wise, we are just kind of thriving off of one comic book. One comic book run right now that is getting a lot of us fans through this period of just nothing happening as far as media goes. You got Cyberworld, which is fun for what it is, but even the entirety of the series out right now is still like less than 2 hours of material or something like that. And then you have maybe Michael Bay coming back to do a new Transformers movie. I don't foresee that actually helping anything. As I've been talking all day, you'll apologize if I take a drink. Because like lessons are not being learned here, I think is the problem. Collectors are kind of tired of like buying an Optimus Prime, being told it's the best Optimus Prime ever, and then 2 years later, an even better Optimus Prime comes out. The 86 one is supposed to be definitive, but really, how long before they come out with another G1 Optimus Prime that somehow does things better? It's a matter of time, right? And you say the same thing of everything. The Earthrise Starscream had problems, but I still thought that was a fine toy. I didn't see the need to like replace them. And then they did the 86 Thundercracker mold. And now everyone's like, well, that's clearly a better mold, so we better switch up. And that's kind of how the entire franchise runs, where we're screaming for like them to do something new. But then when they do something new like Earthspark, no one pays attention. It's funny that the same fans who scream about wanting something new out of Transformers rejects something new that they do simply for petty reasons. Some of them are very poor reasons. Some of them are very ugly reasons. But we have this drought of media, and the media that they're putting out has not been well received. Earthspark got canceled. We know the quality dip that happened between season 1 and season 2. Transformers 1, great movie, poorly marketed, that flopped as well. Yeah, but we're still seeing this like huge push of Transformers stuff out there. And it's not even like logical stuff, Like, did anyone really ask for anything like Swapticons? Was that something that anyone really thought was like a necessary idea? There's things, and then we have issues like the delay in studio series. You remember when we had like nice, robust toy lines for collectors when a movie came out? We don't have that anymore. If you want an entire cast from Transformers 1 in studio series quality, you had to wait a year for Elita 1 to finally make it out. Maybe Optimus and Megatron got figures pretty quick, but everyone else was just kind of on the back burner, just kind of waiting. You couldn't even get Megatron when it first came out because it was like such a hard figure to get a hold of. That shouldn't happen. That should never happen. A brand new blockbuster movie comes out, or even just a kid's animated movie comes out, I should be able to find an entire shelf full of all those characters in good quality, right? I didn't have an option for any Elita 1 really until the studio series came out. And guess what? The studio series that came out freaking sucked. That was not a good figure. We waited a long time to get an Elita 1 figure that was below par, in my opinion. So it gets frustrating to be a movie fan here. It gets frustrated to be like, if you want those days of like full robust toy lines for a movie you really liked. You can't really get it anymore, and that's frustrating for a lot of fans. Disappointing for me. If we want to go to even higher end, you're looking at the things like HasLab. And HasLab is always going to be controversial just because of the way that it sets itself up. People either seeing it as some kind of scam or elitist, like almost a punishing of Transformer fans who cannot afford the HasLab price. We've done whole videos debating that. I genuinely don't have a problem with HasLab, but we also have an incident with HasLab that has caused a lot of people to lose faith in it. The QC issues and the problems that people had with its previous release of the Fire Convoy, RID Optimus Prime. That shook a lot of people's faith in what to that point had been producing pretty fantastic results. So now we are all waiting on bated breath for Predaking, or not Predaking, but Lio Kaiser. And we're just kind of like, if this has anything wrong with it, you are never going to get to release another Transformers HasLab successfully. It is not going to work if this is not going to be, if this doesn't come out flawlessly. So now we're waiting on bated breath with that. Now, fortunately, all of that was priced out before all the prices shifted. So ironically, even at its like HasLab price, we're still getting it for basically retail now. It's only expensive because you had to buy 7 figures at the same time. But amongst all of that, and then we even have things like the crossovers, which are starting to get a little bit too numerous for my taste. Right now, we have a new Stranger Things one on the way. We have a reissue of the Back to the Future one. We have an NFL one going on right now. The Sonic one is still available at Target right now. That one's still fairly new. What was the other one? There's another collab thing going on right now too. Is it just me that's starting to worry that like there's a chance that Transformers just kind of turns into Fortnite at some point? Now, don't get me wrong, most of these collab things have been pretty nice, like even franchises I wasn't big about. I grabbed these collaboratives and they turn out pretty good. Like I actually tend to like them quite a bit, surprisingly so. But again, it adds to a pile that I think is already a little bit too much. And keep in mind, they wanted to add, like, if everything went according to plan with Transformers Reactivate, we would have a live service game on top of that added in. A live service game that would always be tapping you on the screen, trying to get money out of you. Oh, hey, by the way, we have a new skin for Bumblebee. Hey, it's slightly darker yellow. Come buy it. It's 2,000 Energon bucks or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of where my head is right now. Like this started about like just me asking like, where are you in this Transformers thing right now? Like, where are you as a collector with price increases starting to happen, all the craziness, how big the lines, how many lines there are and how big they are at this point, the increasing obscurity of some of the characters released in Generations. Because that's literally the only people who are missing in Generations right now is just the crazy obscure Transformers. This started off as me just kind of asking everyone out there, where are you in Transformers right now? And the more I started putting my thoughts into it, I go like, no, this franchise is just way too big. And I don't know if it's popular enough right now to justify how big it is. I don't have sales figures in front of me to really figure out like how all these companies are doing with all of these projects and products, but obviously it's making some money because they keep doing it. So maybe I'm misreading the tea leaves here. But let me know in the comments section. You can still tell me where you are in Transformers right now as a collector, as an enjoyer of the media, whichever. And just, yeah, let's just kind of take a little consensus here. I might do a video later on that is literally just like looking through the comments sections of this video and just like taking this as a poll and like a consensus of just like, this is kind of where we're at right now in this franchise. But that's for a later date. For now, I'm going to stop talking because this is literally just me rambling at a camera today. But let me know in the comments below where you are sitting in this franchise right now. And thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.